Welcome all. You're in tune for another episode of the Core Link Solution, where we bring you empowerment and actionable insights. On this episode, we're going to talk about transitions in life and how important they are in terms of moments in your life where you can either shrink, survive, or thrive. All of which are okay, by the way, right? There are choices that you can make in moments of transition. But here's the thing. Oftentimes, moments of transitions are initiated by other people. And today I'm joined by Dr. Xavier V. Bruce, who really gives you some insight in terms of his book that he's authored called Uplift Your Damn Self. He shares a message around 8 rules to make a strategic, energetic transition. So let me welcome to the show right now, Dr. Xavier V. Bruce. Welcome to the Core Link Solution, brother.
Hey, thanks, James. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to letting people know how they can empower and uplift their damn self.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this conversation. We talked, it seems like almost a year ago now we first talked. Is that about right?
Yeah,
okay.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, man. I've been looking forward to the conversation. I had a chance to go through the book, so I'm excited to talk about it. But before that, let me properly introduce you to the audience. So take a moment, take a breath. I'm going to read your bio really quickly. Dr. Xavier V. Bruce grew up in the Lake Village, Arkansas, and completed his undergraduate studies from the United States Air Force Academy in May of 2000. And you guys should hear some of the backstory of this. He might get a moment to tell it. With a Bachelor of Science degree in biology. In 2004, he completed his Master of Business Administration and Information Systems Management from Wayland Baptist University. In 2011, Dr. X completed a doctorate of business administration and global supply chain management from Walden University, where he analyzed the impact of employee characteristics on the use of rational persuasion in group purchasing organizations. He became a certified professional coach from the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching in 2012. Over the course of his 24-year military career, Dr. X served as a healthcare administrator and supply chain manager. In May 2018, he and his wife founded Uplift Energy Coaching LLC to help retired minority military veterans thrive during their transition out of the military. In December 2019, Dr. X co-founded a nonprofit organization named Uplift Empowerment, and that's spelled In-Powerment, Inc., to specifically help female service members alleviate the pain points during their transition from military life to civilian life. He's happily married with 4 children and lives in Frederick, Maryland. So again, welcome, Dr. X.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm so happy to have you. So one, let's start with, man, some of your story and what led to this, the organization that you founded, the nonprofit, and the book. If you could just spend maybe 2 minutes talking about the path to that in and of itself.
So that's a great question because I get that a lot. I get questions of, okay, why the name Uplift and why are you so abrupt and kind of brash when it comes to uplift your damn self? Well, it basically started with me being in that bunker in Kandahar, Afghanistan. And this is right after a rocket attack. And I'm in there by myself because it's early morning. The rocket came in, it landed maybe 50 yards away from me. So I ran out to the bunker and I was there, and I did not want to talk to my mom about it because she worries a lot. My brother and we were kind of estranged at the time. I was going through a divorce, so I did not feel like I could talk to my wife at the time. So in that bunker, I said, you know what? I need to pull myself together. I need to uplift my damn self. And from that, I said, you know what, if I get out of Afghanistan, I am going to provide life coaching for people like me. Because you don't find many brothers that are life coaches or certified life coaches. So I said, you know what, I am going to be the change that I want to see in the world. Mm-hmm. So when I get out of this, because I finished my doctorate while I was over there in Afghanistan. So I said, if I get back, I'm going to become a life coach, and the company will be named Uplift.
Wow. That's incredible, man. And, one of the things I enjoyed listening to your whole story, so many challenges that you faced and overcame, man, from the strained relationship with your father, I think you said you graduated number 2 in your class in high school, but then had the challenge of getting into the military academy, right?
Right. That's correct.
Right. I mean, so what a fall, right? You think you're number 2 and then you say, I should be able to go into the academy. And they're like, well, not so much, right? And all those things. And then you get into these situations and go, okay, look, I've got to figure this out myself and not wait on someone else to solve it, which is one of the things you talk about, who this book is for people who think sometimes they need to wait for someone else to solve this. So, one of the things that struck me about the book is the subtitle, right? So Uplift Your Damn Self, a Black veteran's guide for in-powerment, in-powerment, which seems very intentional. 8 rules to make a strategic, energetic transition. Talk about both empowerment, the reason you chose to use that, empowerment.
So it's a play on words, as you can tell. It's instead of empowerment, when someone empowers you, they give you the power and the authority. But that is you relying on someone to give you that power, that authority, that approval, that the green light to do something. What I'm saying is, damn net, figure out what you need to do in order to give yourself the power and the authority to make command decisions. So many times we're asking for help. And what I'm saying with empowerment is you can learn specific ways, and it kind of goes into strategic energetic transition, but you can learn specific ways to give yourself the power and the authority to make the change in your life that's needed to achieve your definition of success. So quit waiting on someone to empower you. Empower your damn self. Yeah. And your second question was about strategic energetic transition. You typically, I don't know if anyone has really heard all those words together. And to break it down, strategic is, well, in the military, you have strategy, operations, and tactics. Tactical is what you do like right now. That's a tactic. Operation or operational, that's what you do on a daily basis. Strategic, now you're looking over the time horizon, like where do you want to be? Who do you want to be in the future? So that's right. Strategic. Energetic, it's not just physical energy. There's 6 types of energy, and there's mental, emotional, spiritual, social, universal, and physical. It actually spells mess up, because if you don't have these all together, it can mess up the way that you show up in life. So energetic is how you can really tap into not only physical, but mental, emotional, and the whole health or holistic health. So that's the energetic. Transition, hey, it's time to transition out of a mind state that is not working for you. It basically encapsulates what I'm trying to help our people do.
No, that's strong. That's so strong. And one of the things that struck me about it was the intentionality in your words provokes the idea that this needs to be self-initiated and proactive, right? And yeah, absolutely. And in reading through your story, one of the things that was so well done in the way you tell your story, man, is the amount of things you go through before you get to the rules, right? You're telling your story, and you can hear the pain, the grieving, but you don't really take a lot of time to to wallow in it, right? You're telling the story, you're going through it, and then you make this pivot on, okay, I've got to pick this up. Like my friends are seeing me in Philly, they're saying what's happening. Like, man, you look rough, brother. Things happening. I'm starting to recognize this. I'm dwelling in my first marriage. This is not working. I run away from my first marriage to go to the military, and please correct me if I'm getting any of this wrong. But I go away from this, and you know what? I've got to get control of this thing myself. No one's going to come jump in this. And so out of that, these rules start to take shape, man. And what's so powerful to me is this, the concept of, okay, manage this thing by a set of rules, right? And so if you're ready, man, I would love to dive into these 8 rules. You ready?
Yeah, let's get
Please. Let's hit it. So rule number 1, there are no excuses not to be great. Say more.
There are people out there that won't let you be great. I saw that year after year after year while I was in the military. There are people that don't want you to be great for whatever reason. If it's, I had people telling me I needed to take a chill pill. I had people saying that I need to be happy where I am. And I tell you what, when it comes down to excuses not to be great. You have to step back and see what people are trying to do. Once you step back and get out of your emotions and see how people are trying to hold you back, I learned how to say, okay, got it. I know where you're going. I know what you're trying to do, but you know what? I'm not going to let that be an excuse. I'm not going to say, okay, the reason I wasn't able to succeed is because of that person. No, that will not be an excuse for me to not be great.
That's good. You know, one part about that is I think about the story you tell of being, I think this at the time you were in the military academy and you were on a football team, right?
Right.
And you had a girlfriend and you guys had broken up and you were notified, I think you were at practice,
right,
and told to report somewhere, and found out that an allegation was thrown at you that you had committed rape.
Yep.
That was a moment, man, that could have gone totally sideways. Yeah. And just depending on how you reacted in that moment. And I mean, just play back for a moment, man. You know, what you were feeling, what you were thinking, and how you proceeded through that.
Bro, I thought I was going to jail. Yeah. I thought not only am I getting kicked out of the Air Force Academy, I'm going to jail based on something that I did not do. Mm-hmm. So I had never felt so lonely, so depressed, so sad, so embarrassed in my life. And I had to figure out how I can explain myself in which the rational persuasion or the reasoning or the logic would just make sense to the authorities and whoever was going to be the decision maker on whether not only do I stay out of prison, but I also stay at the academy. So what I learned is how to capture data and how to go back and do your research, get the facts, and present them in a way in which whoever you're presenting those facts to, they step back and say, oh, okay, got it. Okay, this is a woman scorned versus me just being, so angry and losing my mind and being so, just so emotional. I had to step back and say, okay, the way that I'm going to get out of this is through rational persuasion and reasoning. And that's what I did.
That's good. That's good. And there, there's two things you said that stuck out to me. That was one of them. The one thing about the using the information, the data. The second thing that you said that I thought was so good, man, was that you were so helpful. And I don't know if helpful is the word you use, but you were just compliant and forthright with the investigating officers. Right. Just, you know what I mean? Just, I don't know what the right term to use, but I guess compliant. Right. And just working with them. Because the other part that you mentioned was those type of relationships, I think, were forbidden in the military. Is that?
Yeah. You're not supposed to engage in sexual activity in the military. Well, let me back up. On a military academy installation while as a cadet. Right. But now you put some 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds together and it happens.
Right.
Doesn't mean that, it's right or wrong. It happens. Right. But in my case, someone felt like I kind of pulled the rug from underneath her, and her plans were going down the drain. And she said to herself, obviously, that not so fast. I got something in store for you. So we break the rules sometimes, but in this case, I did not do what I was being accused of. However, you do have to fess up and tell authorities, okay, this is what I did do. This was wrong, and I apologize for this, but this is what I did not do.
Exactly. So the way you owned it and carried yourself through it gave you some grace on the part that you did do that still allowed you to proceed and be successful regardless, man. That's awesome. Okay. So rule number 2, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
I damn near flunked out of the Air Force Academy. At one point I had a 1.87 GPA. It it was so bad that I quit D1 football. Black boys don't quit D1 football.
D1
You
football,
just
right.
right.
That's unheard of.
I had to go talk to the head coach. Like
Right.
he pulled me in, like coach, his name was Fisher DeBerry at the time. So I had to go talk to the top guy and explain to him why I was not playing anymore. So I had that 1.87 GPA. That's where I kind of started in terms of my academic career. But how I finished, to finish with a doctorate, a terminal degree, the first in my family, the first of, people in my sphere of influence. One reason I got that doctorate is because of the fact that I had a 1.87 GPA. So I wanted to prove to myself and those around me that, hell, I'm smart. I can figure things out. So it's not how I started, it's how I finished with the doctorate.
Amen. And the sacrifices you were willing to make to make it a priority.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Big lessons there. Rule 3, you may not be great in your fish pond, but all greats are not equal. Say more about that one.
So in terms of being in the Air Force active duty, I was not like the top performer, but I was the most, I would say, I had the most or the highest academic achievement. So although, and it depended on where I was, there were times in which I was not put in a position to prosper. And in the book, I talk about how I was put in, it's sometimes called an orderly room. But in the book, I basically say that I was the help. And I felt like I should have been in a position to prosper, in a leadership position. And I talk more about it in the book. But basically, all greats are not equal, because although I wasn't great in doing that type of work where I was, because I felt like I was more than that, I was great in other things. And now I feel like I'm great at what I do in terms of helping our veterans transition.
Absolutely. Rule 4, meet with triumph and disaster and treat them the same. This one really struck me. Yeah.
Right. So this comes from one of my favorite poems, If, by Rudyard Kipling. Basically what it's saying is, okay, you're going to have some triumphs and disasters. There are at least around 22 veterans and service members who commit suicide on a daily basis. And it's because their lows are too low. What I mean by meeting with triumph and disaster and treating them the same, don't get too high nor too low. If something happens to you, do not get devastated. Don't get to the point where you're like, you know what, I just don't want to be here anymore. But also, when great things happen, you need to humble yourself and realize that that's not all you. That's your higher being, whether it's God or whoever you pray to, has something to do with that. And you need to, humble yourself and make sure that you're lifting as you climb. You're helping other people with where you are and your achievements. And if it's more money, if it's a better position, or you just have more resources, then turn around and help someone else. So meet with triumph and disaster the same. Don't get too high nor too low.
Yeah, that's good. It really struck me. Rule 5, and people will be surprised at this one. It's okay to quit. In fact, sometimes it's the best option.
Yeah, I've quit a handful of things in my life, and they're in the book. You'll see that I quit the football team. I just talked about that. Most Black boys don't quit D1 football. Also quit a marriage. There are some people that are out there that do not believe in divorce. Even if they're in an abusive relationship, whether it's physical or emotional, mental, they don't want to quit. So they end up being in a broken marriage or a toxic relationship for years, for decades. And it's not fair to either party to be going through the motions and not loving and feeling love and giving love. So those are two instances where I quit, but there are some other instances where I think we as a people need to step back and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to quit doing that because it's not serving me or it's not serving my family. It's not where I need to go in my life.
Yeah. And, on this one, I would love to ask a follow-up question, from your experiences and any research and from the counseling you've done, have you found any things that you would highlight in terms of what causes people to hold on too long and just stick and stay and not quit or deprioritize or remove those things in service of a path that will be better for them?
It's because of what they think other people will think about them. It's them not wanting to be seen as a quitter. I mean, there were so many people who, even family members and friends, they really kind of ostracized me when I quit the football team and then the marriage. And so I was at a point in which I didn't give a damn who felt some kind of way about me. And more, we need to get to the point where it's not that we don't care about what anybody says or what anybody thinks, but at a certain point, to a certain extent, we have to say, you know what? Only God can judge me. I think Tupac said that. Only God can judge me. So that's where I'm going with that,
Yeah. Rule 6, you will have known knowns, known unknowns, unknown knowns, and unknown unknowns.
So known knowns, these are things that we know. Like the book, like the questions that you're asking me, I know that I know these things, right? But then there are known unknowns, things that we know that we don't know. I don't know how to do, some of the things that you know how to do. There are some subjects that I just know that I'm not aware of. Then there are unknown knowns. It's like with coaching, you ask certain questions, certain empowering questions, and the client may answer it, and then they're surprised, like, hell, I didn't know that I knew that. So those are unknown knowns. And then there are unknown unknowns. There are things that we don't know that we don't know.
Right.
And these are some of the aspects that I integrate into my coaching so that people walk away with increased awareness. So they turn those unknown unknowns into known knowns.
That's good. Rule 7, trust yourself when others doubt you, but allow them to.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people out there that are going to doubt you, some naysayers. With the book, there are some people that feel like maybe I should not have written the book. Maybe I went into too much detail. Maybe I should not use the subtitle. Maybe I should just say uplift instead of uplift your damn self. These are people that will doubt me and doubt how far I will go with this particular phrase that pays and this value proposition. But allow them to. It's understandable. No one has done what I'm about to do and what I'm doing right now. And that is what makes me unique. And that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that we have a unique value proposition so that we're not just like anyone else. So you have to trust yourself when everyone else doubts you, but allow them to ask questions and wonder or what have you. But you use that doubt as rocket fuel.
Got it. And allow them to as well. When I read that, I was trying to, for myself, make sure I understood one of the things you're saying. One of the things I took from it was allow them to also means give yourself permission to keep going and don't over concern yourself with their doubt.
Absolutely. I have family members that ask me, so how do you feel about the book? Or how do you think other people, what type of feedback are you getting? I've had people say, wow, you went into a lot of detail on that. Wow, you put it out there. And this is, hey, these are not negative words that they're saying, but these are, doubts that I did the right thing.
Right.
But you know what? That's not going to stop me from going forward and having an interview with the likes of you and others. I just had a call uh, yesterday about someone wanting to talk about the book.
Right.
And these are people that are intrigued by the fact that I'm saying, you know what? And let me back up. When I say uplift your damn self, I'm not saying that don't pray anymore, don't go to church, don't have faith. What I'm in the Bible, it says, for as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead too. So what I'm saying is, okay, after you pray, after you get up off the ground, after you pray to your higher being, whether that's God or if you believe in something or someone else. Okay, now it's time to get to work. So now you need to do some heavy lifting and uplift your damn self.
Yeah, man, we can't just spirits because I'm a faith and works person. Got to do the work. Got to do the work. Yeah. Rule 8, courage is fear that has said its prayers.
Men get afraid. Men have fear. Whether you want to admit to it or not, damn it, I was scared when those bombs were dropping in Kandahar, Afghanistan. I was like, man, the devil is busy. And I felt like, okay, that was fear.
Right.
But courage, when you have the courage to take that and not come back and have PTSD just take over your life. If you just take your life, or if you take it out on people and you're lashing out and you're not doing the right thing in terms of transitioning mentally from a bad place, if you're in Afghanistan, or if you're in a bad marriage or a bad job, if you will, you have to say your prayers so that the courage turns into bravery. And then you you use that fear that you had in that particular situation, you recognize it, and you understand that it's understandable, but it's unnecessary. And I'll always say that a unreasonable response to an unreasonable situation is perfectly reasonable. Okay.
Yeah, good. That's good. These 8 rules are powerful. The thing that the question usually is, right? If we get it logically, we get it. And not unlike things we learn in school, we get it. And we have to try to put it into practice, right? And so a lot of times we'll be in school, we do experiments in the room and we play things out, and it's easy in a controlled environment, right? How do you put this into practice in such a way that then you can retain it?
So when I started this, it was a bit nebulous. It was in my mind. It was, okay, these are the things that people need to do in order to overcome stress and anxiety. But I needed to solidify it. So that's why I created the framework, strategic energetic transition. And that's why I have 3 steps. So, and the steps actually spells I am. The I is identify your energy blocks. And we talked about those earlier. The mental, emotional, spiritual, social, universal, and physical, the things that mess up the way that you show up. So first you have to identify, well, which one is it? Is it mental? Is it emotional? Is it spiritual? Well, what I'm saying is all problems, all stress, all anxiety at least starts with mental and emotional. You have a thought and then it affects the way that you feel. So that's step 1, identify exactly what the problem is. Step 2 is analyze your energy level, where level 1 is you feeling like the victim. I felt like a victim in Afghanistan, in my marriage, in college, in that situation that happened to me. I felt like the victim. Well, at level 2, now you're defiant, now you're angry, and you're conflict minded. Well, you go all the way up to level 7, where you're non-judgmental. You're absolutely passionate and you're creating success. So you have to analyze where you are from levels 1 to 7. In fact, here's it in a nutshell right here. Beautiful. And this is what you can get from me by reaching out. But basically, you figure out where you are energetically and where you want to be. And then step 3, make a command decision. It could be energetic or it could be practical. Energetic meaning, okay, let me put some pressure on myself. Let me reason why this is happening and where I need to go. Or it could be practical. Okay, I need to get some legal assistance. I need to get some insurance. I need to get my taxes taken care of because I paid $20,000 last year in taxes. So how do I not let that be stress and anxiety this upcoming year? Or I need to learn more about entrepreneurship because I'm tired of working for somebody else. So as you will see and it's on Amazon as well, the workbook, and through my workshops, I actually I demystify strategic energetic transition and whittle it down to, okay, this is how you can do it in concrete steps.
Awesome. That puts those 8 rules then into practice. That's beautiful. Exactly. That's beautiful. This is I like this system a lot and these takeaways. So identify your energy blocks, analyze your energy levels, and then make a command decision. It's beautiful. You know, before we close out, one of the things I didn't do when we got going that I have to do because the Correlating Solution audience is so used to this. What is one thing you can share that the people listening that know you best, if they're listening, would not know about you? One fun fact I'll be to share. People that know you best.
One fun fact would be, that's a great question. I guess it would be that I guess I'm not a quitter. Even though I've quit several times in my life, I'm obviously not a quitter because I'm still going. I'm still creating. What I did was, that was practice.
Right.
That was practice. Those years in high school and college, 24 years in the military, that was practice. Yes, I quit certain actions and certain programs, but one thing that people would find interesting about me is that after they read the book and they may have one impression, one thing is that I'm not a quitter, and that's something that I think is special.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Correlating Solution audience, you heard it first from Dr. X. Make sure you pick up a copy of his new book, and we'll have all the links as always on the site. And as always, we love to hear your thoughts as well. So whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or whatever place you're watching, please put in the comment section your thoughts. Or if you're listening through your favorite channel or device, audibly, make sure you put some comments there and hit subscribe and like. And Dr. X, thank you so much for being on the Correlating Solution.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
All right.